Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our podcast. It's your boy Djigo. Now that everybody have my name correct, let me present myself properly to the audience. My name is Djigo, and I'm ready to host today fantastic episode. One of our co-hosts who've been missing these days podcast is back. Jonathan, we missed you. It's been a while.
Hey,
How you doing?
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Happy to be back. It's had a new routine here, and I miss you guys. And yeah, I'm so happy to be back now.
Oh, that is so cool. There's no thunderstorm today. I hope so.
And no bridge falling.
Oh, that was a sleigh. I'm catching strays right now. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, for today's episode, I'm here. I'll be hosting today's episode, and I'm here with my co-host OG, P Funk, and the Beard. As usual, every week we are dropping on Monday to talk about hoops, and to talk about African hoops especially. And you have all those brilliant minds, ladies and gentlemen, that are ready to talk about hoops for an hour just for you guys. So if you're a listener of the Swish podcast, so please follow us on socials, leave a like, subscribe on Spotify and YouTube, and then it will give us, more boost to come with that show. So for today, we have a lot of basketball to talk about. First of all, we will start with hot take, and you know who's the boss of hot takes here? You know, the one and only Kano. Always heard, looking for gossips.
I mean, I wouldn't call it gossip. I just like the streets are talking, so we need to listen. I don't understand. It's respectful if we listen.
Fair
All right.
enough.
Okay, so two things that caught my eye. If you haven't already heard, the wonderful Will Perry, I was about to call him William, as if, as if we were having a formal conversation,
You
has
can call him
in
William though.
yes, William Perry has signed to Uranani BBC until the end of the season. So, for those who don't know, Uranani is a big team from Burundi. They have played in the Road to BAL and they've played in the BAL. And Will Perry is a big time shooter. He's also played in the BAL and the Road to BAL. So, it'll be interesting to see how they end their season and what Mr. Perry brings to the table. Another signing that comes straight from our friends at Expo Africa is, and here I am butchering a name, you know, Chikiga Gabri, who has signed with the Rivers Hoopers. We know that the Rivers Hoopers are the Nigerian team. This is ahead of the BAL playoffs. So I would like to know who he is replacing. That's the first question. And also, I thought that you could no longer sign players when you're going into the playoffs. I thought you could only sign them during the conferences. So this is a new hot topic for us because also I heard through the grapevine that Creo Star are also signing new players ahead of the playoffs. So have the rules changed for the BAL,
Oh,
and who else are we going to see in the playoff games? That's it for hot topics from me.
Thank you so much, Keto. Let's hear about first P Funk. P Funk, give us your thought about the signings because we know that Will Perry is a big time player, But
I mean, I know he is.
the
He is. He
signings
is.
in between the conferences, that is something that I don't understand.
Because some teams are blessed, some teams are not. I'm not gonna start no conspiracy theory, but show us the rule book. Okay, hey, it's got to be a transfer window, this and that, whatever. But
Mhm.
some of them are allowed to. So yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
listen, in Portuguese, we have a saying is that some kids are sons and the others are stepsons. So we the stepsons.
Oh, God have
Yep.
mercy.
Hey, I'm just calling.
Oh,
I call it as I see it. No, because
facts.
yeah. You're not supposed to. It's kind of like, oh, there's a trade deadline, but then there's a little asterisk. Other people can do it. Unless it's like injury replacement. I understand that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Other than that, no. But they play, Will Perry's gonna sign. Is gonna play in the local league. That's okay.
Yes, he's
But
not
then,
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
in
yeah.
but
the
He's
then
not
BAL.
playing
the
in the
BAL signing is yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
and Rivers
yeah.
Hoopers
The
is an
the the
interesting one because I
the
thought they were kind of fully stacked.
but
Yeah.
then I think now
But
you can have five players, don't right?
Yes, you can
You
have
can have
five.
5 players, 5 imports.
That's
If
basically
you
the starting five. Like,
as yep, yeah, true, true.
mm.
Amazing
How about you,
Amayo and
Jonathan?
as a new
I need to call him up and ask him what's going on with the team.
yeah, yeah.
I'll come back to you next week with some more hot gossip on that.
Thank you. I heard that the player that they signed is small forward slash power forward.
Okay.
Playing in the Rwandan league, and
Okay.
which is he is a big force down low in the paint. So that
Mm.
is a major addition for them because you know that when we watch their games against Alitiad, that was in the one of the eras that they were struggling a little bit. So that is good for the River Hoopers if they want to get back to contention. I mean, last year they finished third. This year you're
Hmm.
gonna probably be in the top two or win it all. So if you want to win it all, you surely improve. But is it fair? And what's the rule book? And Jonathan, what do you think about it? For to be
Mm,
able to sign new players in a season that's going right.
mm. It just misplaces. I mean, it it sends a wrong message. That you can do whatever you want to win, and it's like uh, it's destroying the game in the sense that maybe another team could have won, but the fact that you're signing in new players, calling in new players, and you're disrupting the whole dynamics. But apart from that, I don't think much about it. As long as there's game, as long as there is some nice players or some nice players, yeah. But yes, somehow disrupting the system, and there are teams that are using the gray zone, to go through, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And shout out to Urunani. Shout out to Urunani basketball because they was able to pull out one of the two best players in the Sahara Conference in the backcourt positions. Let's say. Will Perry had a great showing in the Sahara Conference, even though Willa Dakar wasn't able to make it. He was averaging something like 22 points per game. And then you also have Patrick McCain, who was a Creole star player, and then after had to resign with all of those matters that happened with in between Creole star. So
But do we know
yeah,
what
I
happened?
mean,
I still don't know what happened.
Yes, we do know what happened.
I think Africa Basket put out an article to talk about it.
Yes, they did. I read it thoroughly. I listened to the interviews. I know. I'm across all the gossip. I don't know why. Ask the question you really want to ask, and I'll tell you the answers.
What
No, no, no. I
happened?
just hey, listen. Yeah, what happened? What happened? Because I heard that the Creole Star was going to start a internal investigation, whatever. But
Hmm.
that was it. We didn't hear. We didn't. There was no follow up.
Hmm. So, which bit do you want to know about in terms of the internal investigation? I guess what I'm saying is a lot of allegations were made from different sides. So, what is the thing that interests you the most that you would like to nail down?
Everything.
I mean,
Okay.
listen. There's like this. There's like this. There's always three sides, right?
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
side, the other one side, and the truth.
Truth.
I want to
Mhm.
go right to the middle.
Okay. So, the truth is, they did sign three international players. They did come to a camp in Cabo Verde, should I say, and they were given brand new apartments to live in. So everybody who was at the camp was in a brand new apartment.
Okay.
In that apartment, they have some limited, like the water is on a tank. In most places in Africa, you have a water tank. So after a certain amount of time, the tank needs to be filled up. I believe that these players did not do their research and understand that that's a very normal thing that happens. So when it happened,
Oh,
they kind of freaked out. They were like,
Freaked
wait,
out.
there's no
Yeah.
water, so on and so forth. The next thing is electricity. Obviously, in some African countries, electricity is an issue. So for them, they were like, there's no electricity, there's no Wi Fi, which is not that. It was just intermittent. So, yes, there was electricity. Yes, there was Wi Fi, but it wasn't 24 hours like you would have in the US, which is probably what they're used to. That doesn't mean that they don't have the right to complain. if they in their contract had asked for a certain specific thing and it was agreed to and then that wasn't adhered to, they have every right to complain about that. They then left the hotel. They left the residence and went to a hotel to stay, but they didn't inform the team. So the team were unaware that this is where they were. So then the team had to then change the plans of pickup to always go to pick up these players and then swing back around to pick up the other players before going to camp. And the players were always late, which meant the schedules were always late. So that was before we even get to the BAL. When we did get to the BAL, there were some issues in regards to players' attitudes towards the game and the coaches and the other players on the team. And vice versa, I will say some of the players also had attitudes towards the import players. Let's say that. There were a few choice words that happened, and an altercation did happen where a Creo Star player did punch. I've forgotten the name of the other player. It's gone from my brain, but he did punch him in the face. The police were called. Statements were taken, statements were made. Obviously, that happened at the BAL, but it's not the fault of the BAL. It is between the players in Creo Star. The player apologized. Obviously, the other player didn't want to hear it. As you can imagine, security then escorted the international players away from the BAL hotel and gave them somewhere else to stay until it was time for them to leave. As I understand it, there were some outstanding payments that needed to be made to those players. From my understanding, the club has said that they have made the payment to those players. So the players have said they have not received the payment. So like you said, Pedro, there's 3 sides to every story. And that is the crux of what happened. And some choice words were said by those players as well, in terms of like, it felt like they didn't really want to be on the team, or like or maybe not that they didn't think the team was good enough. They didn't think the team was going to win or qualify or so on and so forth. And then they rubbed that kind of attitude is being said while games are being played. It's not a good look. And 2 players like if you're management, you have to do something about that. That's not great.
Oh, that's why they were fired, basically.
They weren't fired. To be clear, no player was fired. They were told they were benched. And they were removed from team activities because they were causing a ruckus between the players.
Conduct detrimental to the team. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
There you go. Okay.
Contractual. That's the that's the agent in him. Any other questions?
No, it's good to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good to know. So now let's jump in the next segment, which is the question of the week. And then for today, I came with a question. We know a little bit how basketball in Africa, in the African landscape, changed a little bit. It's with the immersion of the BAL, let's say, and the AfroBasket. We had long-term powerhouse, let's say. Angola being one of the powerhouses in terms of men's AfroBasket, but it's been a while that Angola
being the powerhouse.
Jeez, you're doing too much.
On. You're doing too much. Let me just finish. And then you have Senegal used to be also one of the powerhouses in terms of women's basketball, women's AfroBasket. And even though in men's AfroBasket, because they won 5 and still in the top 3 in terms of medals and accolades. So the question of the day would be, what does it take for a nation to be the next powerhouse of African basketball in club level and also in nation level?
Who's going first?
I'm going first. I'm going in first. To be honest, when you look at the rosters, what you see is a lot of naturalized players. Okay, and maybe it takes a couple of naturalized players to become the next powerhouse. That's the funny part. That's what I'm saying. That's the fun part. Okay, now let's be serious. What it takes commitment from federations, from the players. It takes a roadmap from where you're starting and where you want to end in 10 years and 15 years and 20 years. It takes so much more than just the want of a trophy. I want to win a trophy. Something. It's so much more than that. Uh, when you see that countries like Tunisia, Nigeria, Senegal, Angola are established powerhouses, this is something because the governments have invested in them at some point, and this is what every country needs. In my humble opinion, every country needs that government and private sector, they work together, they devise a plan for the next 10, 15 years, and only at this cost, only at this price, that you will see new powerhouses emerging. All the while, not neglecting the fact that the old ones are still working in the background and still will be still powerhouses. You know? So this is how I see it, and hopefully I'm not wrong on what I'm saying.
How about you, Kero? What do you think about the question?
I think my first question is can there be more than one or two powerhouses in a region? If I compare it to like Europe, right? So we would argue that Germany is a powerhouse because they're the world champions. Let's start with that. France are powerhouses because they're France, and look how many people they have in the NBA. Spain maybe were powerhouses before because they had the Gasol brothers, and before, yeah, and then now they have the Hernandez. That's not their names. What are
Yeah,
their
Hernan
names?
Oh
Gomez.
yeah, it is.
Hernan
Yeah.
Gomez. I said Hernandez. Hernan Gomez brothers. Um, and then they have now some young and up and coming talent. You could argue Serbia is a powerhouse because of how many NBA players they've got. And then Slovenia, maybe not so, but they have Doncic. So they don't need to be a powerhouse because they have a superstar. And you could argue the same with Greece as well. So in Europe, where you've got like 30 countries who like play basketball regularly, you only have a handful, literally a handful of teams that are powerhouses. If you compare that to Africa, I feel like we have the same. We have a handful of teams that are powerhouses. We have 20 countries that we can say realistically play basketball at a good club level. But in terms of powerhouses in club level, the problem I have is organization. Because it's one thing to organize a national team to go and do a competition every 4 years, every 2 years, maybe. It's a different thing to have club competitions every year and have them work out every year. Because it's not just about let's get a bunch of teams together here, 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 and here. You need let's take Tunisia for example. Tunisia has a very good club competition, but how many times have we argued? How do we find information about it? There's not really a website you can follow. We can't watch the games live. The results are kind of a little bit difficult to follow unless you're like someone who's really avid on Facebook and you can like structure it that way. So how can you argue they're a powerhouse even though year after year after year they have club basketball and they have national champions, and those national champions come and dominate on the African continent, but us as fans, how can we engage in that? And you could argue the same for Morocco. You could argue the same for Egypt. You could argue the same for Angola, Mozambique, which has a thriving club competition. You have different Ferroviarios everywhere playing.
I
I
know.
can't follow the league.
Beta
I,
Maputo, whatever. I was like, what?
exactly. I can't follow it because I don't know where they are. Nigeria, for all of its goodness and glory, I ask you to name another team from Nigeria that isn't Rivers Hoopers, and no one can do it because we don't know where to find them. We don't know how to follow them. So for me, becoming a powerhouse in Africa isn't necessarily about finding players, it's about organization. If we don't have the organization at club level, there's no way you're going to get people engaged to go to games, to buy merchandise, to follow the social media, to like to comment on the games and talk about it like we're doing on a podcast, because there's nothing to talk about. I can't tell you who played who because I don't know. So until we can get the organization and communication right, I don't think we're going to get powerhouses.
Hmm.
How about you, Pedro? What's your take on that?
Real simple. Catch a plane to Luanda, Angola, and ask him how we did it.
Stop.
I mean,
I'm just messing.
I'm
the defending
No.
BAL champs. I mean,
No,
They win one BAL. He's acted like they've gone back to back for 5 seasons straight. Like,
I mean,
nobody
no
went
one,
back to
no one
back.
won. That's
Well,
another thing. But listen, you got to. There's historical factors for Angola to be good in basketball. There's historical factors. First of all, we come from a socialist, communist background. They had like sports schools. You know, we had like a little farm system. Like kids were were playing sports at the school level. Then they were sent to clubs. Oh, you good in basketball? You go play basketball. You good in handball? You go play handball. You good at so. And then there was the government at the time had a strategy of using sports to level up, like the same way Cuba did it. The same way the former USSR, like they did it. Like all these Soviet republics, they had. If you see Red Star, they had Red Star, or whatever, Red Star in Yugoslavia, Red Star, Siska Moscow. It's the same thing. It's the same way we have Primeiro de Agosto military team, and you have military team all over Africa. You have like a Force Armée, right? FAP
yeah,
in Cameroon, and then you have like police teams,
APR, one of them.
APR, yeah. So, but in order for you to, the biggest question for you to be a powerhouse, that's the thing. That's the little problem I had with another team that shall not be named. I was like, listen, your country is no, for real. Like your country needs to be into basketball. How are you going to be a powerhouse because check, it's the same as like England. England, they have all the infrastructure, money. They have the manpower. They have players there, But basketball is probably like what 6.
No, it's second actually among 14 to 21-year-olds. Basketball is the second sport. In England, it goes football, basketball, rugby, cricket.
In terms of like fanhood,
Participation. No. In terms of participation.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Yeah,
from
but
like age 13 upwards to university level.
Yeah. But what if there's a little test match, whatever they do in cricket, 1-day match, whatever.
Yeah.
TV are the games on live TV or normal?
Yeah. So rugby union, and
No,
then
rugby, cricket, and everything. What about basketball?
Cricket, yes. Also, basketball it's not on television unless we're playing like a Eurobasket, and then the BBC,
Okay.
which is our national
Okay.
television channel, they will take it. But in terms of our local leagues, like so we have the Basketball England, which runs English basketball, shall I say?
Yeah.
We don't have games on TV. They are live streamed on YouTube, but you're right, we don't have them on TV.
There you go. But check this out. You look at, I'm going to give you the craziest example ever. The Philippines. Like NCAA, they copy the NCAA. College basketball in the Philippines is on TV. Can you imagine? It's not even their league, the PBA. No, PBA is on TV. But their college level league is on TV. They're crazy about basketball. It's a basketball crazy. You see people playing all over, whatever, But then I'll give you an African example. You mentioned Nigeria, right? You have the potential that you guys have in terms of players, right? But you can't, like I said, you got Rivers Hoopers, but then who else? I don't know.
The Kwara Falcons is a team in Nigeria. The Kwara Falcons.
Yeah.
That's one more of the team. And then there's a Lagos something. I can't remember what the Lagos team is. But you're right. The potential in Africa is massive, but in Nigeria is massive.
Yeah.
But it's not organized enough to a level where you can see that potential being fulfilled.
And then we made a distinction between club level and national team level. Club level, for you to be a powerhouse in Africa, on our continent, whatever, you need to keep winning your domestic league, and that comes with money. Honestly, the more money you have to attract the better players, like Urunani, they're gonna try to win their league to go into next year's BAL, but then I think it's just a little bit too late, because you only get in these players for specific time period for the playoffs. The rest of the league, who do you play with? So tennis goes down when these players are not there. Because that's what happened before. Angola used to be like this: like they play, and in the playoffs, all the Angolan that played abroad, they will come and play, and then strengthen the teams. But then now they rather most of them are playing in Angola as it is. So, and then the other ones are playing in college and playing in high school, so they don't go. But yeah, you need to. I would use the Spanish example. Spain, when they were going to host the '92 Olympics, they did an overhaul of every sport. And if you realize, Spain became good in every sport. They were good in football, right? Club level, national team level. They were good in basketball, club level, national team level, handball, roller hockey. They were doing, then they started like golf, tennis, Formula One, motorcycles, whatever. So they invested. They said, listen, we're going to go and identify talent, bring them on a team, on a basically like a federation type team, whatever, and then the rest is history. They won everything. They Now they're not the powerhouse that they used to be in Europe. But if you realize, Germany is but I mean, don't get me wrong. I live here in Germany. Germany, there's no games on TV. The
I
games
was
only.
gonna ask, how did Germany become world champions? Because it doesn't feel like I've been to Germany. They don't feel like a basketball country.
They
So
not.
how
They
did that
not.
happen?
No, because they got some crazy ass, tall ass kids. You know, they got a bunch of no basketball. There's a little movement. And like there's a little bit combined with hip hop here in Germany. Combined with hip hop. They got their own brands. There's like this one brand called Kicks, and then everybody, like they started like hip hop, whatever, baggy jeans, whatever. But Germany, don't forget, they won U16, the Division B, and then they won U18. So the future's there. And then you have kids that they go to the States, go to the NBA directly from the German league without like bypassing college and high school or high school.
Yeah.
So that should say, because a lot of, I mean, the same happens with like the people from the Balkans. The same happens with like some French people that go straight to the
Mm.
NBA.
Yeah, straight to the
But I'm
NBA,
just
yeah.
saying, France, yeah, France, Spain, Germany. Germany is still a little not. I mean, not the same equivalent of a Spain
Yeah,
or
of course.
Italy. Italy went down. Italy went down. Italy used to be a powerhouse.
Yeah. Yeah, they used to.
Italy, yeah. They went down. Like Russia now because of the sanctions, whatever they
Yeah.
are. But look at Turkey. Turkey, that
Mm.
teams are super good in the club level, but at national team level, they don't do it.
National, they don't. But I would
You
also
know?
argue that you can have countries and teams that are great at club level, but their club level compared to what it takes to be a national level are two different things. So they could have like powerhouses in the club level, but then you put
Yeah.
all those players together at a national level and they suck because you're now going up against Tunisia or Senegal or
Mm-hmm.
Angola or Nigeria, and you don't have the same level of basketball experience because you're just playing inside your country.
True. True.
That's how it goes. So yeah, thank you guys for this amazing segment. Now let's go on to talk a little bit about the BL. As I speak right now, we're recording on Thursday, and today's game day for, I mean, Nairobi City Oilers. I mean, APR was playing against MBB,
Why
and
do you keep calling them the Nairobi City Oilers? That is not their name.
Thunder. They
Nairobi
should
City
change
Thunder. The City
Thunder.
Oilers are a
Oh
team
my God.
from Uganda. Come on, put some respect on their name. You want them to be
I'm
powerhouses. You're not
sorry.
even calling them the right name.
I am sorry for that, for all Kenyan basketball, what have you. But hey, you should not copy the name of an NBA team. I am sorry. That's what tricked me
It's
every
always
time.
about the
The
names. Always
Oklahoma
about the
City
names.
Thunder. Come on. Oklahoma City Thunder. You cannot name your team like the Nairobi City Thunder. But hey, anyway, that's not the topic of the
Why
day.
not? Why not?
So,
Why
oh,
not?
come on,
If we
come
have
on.
a
And
if we have a
now
training
they
with
use.
Oklahoma City,
But they don't. I don't think they have, man.
They don't.
uh,
I think
Just put
just
it that
ask
way.
him.
You see a lot of African
yeah.
team putting the
Just
logo
ask
of the
him.
Golden State Warriors
Orlando
or
Magic.
some or the Orlando Magic or something like that. Come on now. As African, we should be original a little bit. We have so much story to tell. I mean, it's Kenya. Come on now. But yeah, to talk about a little bit about what's going on in BL right now. The Nile Conference kicked off last week, And for now, we have some great matchup. And then I think that you guys watched the overtime game that we had in between. Oh my God, that was so crazy. In between Nairobi City Thunder, okay, I'll get it right, and
Not
MBB.
Oilers.
We, not Oilers and MBB. So we have some great games and we have outstanding performances. Jean-Jacques Boissy is actually currently leading all scorers with two 28 game and one 30-point game, which is really impressive. And Al Ahly being the first team to clinch a playoff spot in this conference, going
Yeah.
4 and
They're
0,
4-0, right? They're
and
4-0.
therefore no,
I
therefore
never
no, and then
expected it. I'm not gonna lie. I did not see that
really,
coming. I didn't have it in my purview at all. But what I will say is, hey Jean Jacques, how you doing? You looking good. I like how you braiding your hair these days. You look great. I saw you in the interview, glowing, shining, and of course you're shooting wonderfully. I just wanted to say hi.
okay.
Just
Now let's talk
watching
about
for me.
basketball a little bit. So Nairobi, so the Al Ahly actually clinched a playoff spot with 4 wins, and they beat the host team, which is APR, in a thrill game, and which was a very entertaining game because it was a game between one of the top two if they're on the conference. You see what I mean? So APR, what's going on there? What can we say about APR? They got the best front court, let's say, in the whole tournament. They have
Yeah.
two dominant paint presence in their front court, which is Alujara and Yusuf Andoy. Mind very fact, in the second game, they combined for 45 points and 22 rebounds. Both
That's
of them in the point guard.
crazy.
That was massive. The way they dominated the glass every time, that is something to really catch an eye of. And MBB, shout out to them. First show up to the BL. Probably Pedro don't have any beef with MBB, you know.
Hey, I
Sit,
don't
sit,
listen.
sit,
These are my
Petra has
neighbors,
beef
man.
sit.
with all of South Africa. It doesn't matter the team. Just as long as
It
they're South
doesn't matter.
African, Petra is gonna be there and he's gonna be trolling them.
Yep,
Oh,
it's always like that. We
oh,
saw what happened when, if you guys be familiar, please go subscribe to Angular Players because you have all the best memes that drop out in all the social
He
media
does have the best
when
memes.
funny story when what was the team? The Tigers called themselves
Cape Town Tigers.
the Cape Town Tigers called themselves the new powerhouse of Africa, and then they lost. Bro, put a cut.
no, no, no.
Literally, he put a cut in there. So anytime that Pedro should go in South Africa, you guys
I don't think they're gonna let
should
me
really.
in. I don't think.
No,
I
I
His
don't
don't think
think.
visa
so.
is not going to be accepted at all. He'll be
I don't think
denied
so.
visa at the application stage.
No,
They,
they're my brothers. Hey, don't let the people from the north. You know, they hate that the Southerners are getting along. You know, come on,
oh,
let's stay together. Let's stay together.
Now I'm
it's
from the north. That's crazy.
now it's people from the north. I'll probably be from the north too. But anyway,
Yeah.
MBB won a thrill game against Nairobi City Thunder.
That was actually a fun game to watch,
Yeah.
to be fair.
That was
I'll give him
probably
that.
the best game of the conference all of all. We can all agree
So
with
far,
that.
yeah.
So far, they came back a 12-point deficit within 3 minutes to go.
Imagine.
Can you guys imagine
Yeah.
what happened then? And then there was one really a fun story that would happen. We sold out. Oppo have one of the game of his life with the shot of his life.
That shot was beautiful.
Guys, I was gonna say this. Uganda probably have the best sharpshooter in the up and coming Afro basket.
Do you really believe that?
I do.
From
He
one
should
from one game?
not from one game, from the whole tournament actually. He's
I mean,
shooting
I love
over.
Opong. I think he's wonderful, beautiful bald head, shining, glistening, great. But I wouldn't say he's the best shot shooter in Africa. That's a pretty big title to give to somebody. You're
I will
counting
give it
out
to
all
him.
of the Tunisians, every single one, because Randam was doing his thing, and he's a sharp shooter. And that man
Aruna,
is
Yo,
45 years old.
yeah, Aruna also.
Haruna, look at
yo.
Haruna. What we saying here? Haruna also has a
In,
beautiful bald head.
in terms of
So just Randam actually. Maybe
percentages,
it's just bald
in
people are
terms of
better shooters.
They don't have to
analytics,
waste time like
No,
combing
they
like
don't have
their
to waste time.
styling. Yeah,
The aerodynamics
yeah,
of
yeah.
like when they're up there, yeah, it
This
must be that.
podcast is turning into a dating podcast now.
Oh, come on, Jonathan, don't
We're
do
just
that.
talking about
w-
aerodynamics and shooting.
No, no,
we're talking about shooting, but yeah, he is an
I'm
amazing
just
shooter,
saying.
and then we'll see what he brings to the table when Afrobasket comes down. But so far in the BAL, he is showing massive shooting skills, shooting over 35% from the 3-point line, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Over 6 to 7 attempts per game, which is a
That's
great
nice.
statement, a great accomplishment. So my question will be for you guys: what's the biggest disappointment in this BAL Nile Conference? What is your biggest disappointment?
Kenya.
Really? No, that they can't be because we expected them to lose.
I mean, but not like this.
What the?
Not like
Okay.
this. Come on, not like this. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know. Our friend Derito,
He's sending for his own people. It
He
will be
is
your own
going for
people. Your own
rampage.
people. Because he's
Just
sending for them as if he doesn't know them.
I know, and he lives there. I understand it. You know,
That's it. He has no fear.
no. He told me one day that he was banned from going to to watch
To the
games. He
arena,
can't go.
right? He's
Yeah, he
not allowed
can't.
to get into the arena.
And then he
that's
said that
crazy.
he bought. He said his friend sent his friend to buy the tickets, and they didn't let him in. I was like, damn. So
The
yeah,
fact they
hey,
know you by
he wants
face is
all the
crazy.
smoke. Yeah, true.
That kid
But I
was
don't,
this
okay.
one.
I don't think Kenya was a disappointment to me because I expected Kenya to not live up to playing to APR, not live up to playing to Alali. I thought they would have a better game against MBB just because I expected MBB to be last.
Yeah,
That was my thing. But I don't know. I've always thought like Kenyan basketball is okay. Like it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But this showing for them wasn't great. But I'm not disappointed by it because I never expected it to be better. Does that make sense?
True, true.
Yeah,
Just to tell you something, just to place one real quick. MBB won against APR. The game is over now.
Wait, what?
Yeah, after you
second
can
win.
check it out. For all our listeners, we're
What
recording
the
on
hell is
Thursday,
happening?
and
The
it's
South will
in
again.
and
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, they won against APR. You
Against
guys can check it.
Diarra and
Yep,
Indue, that
yep,
MMB team. Oh,
yep.
MBB team. That's how little I care. I don't even learn their name properly. Like, really?
Yep,
What
that's what
kind of
happened.
farce is this?
That's what
What
happened.
conference are we watching?
wow, 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 wow,
And
wow,
then
wow.
so APR even we got home court.
Can you stop bringing that nonsense to me? Like just for a minute.
How is it nonsense? You said it.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
said it. It can't be nonsense if you proclaimed it. I don't understand that.
No.
We're
I
just
got
Oh
home
saying
my
your
court.
god.
own words back to you.
But yeah, just back to basketball. I feel like the
It's
Nairobi City,
basketball.
the Nairobi City Center. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. There's so much to say here.
We were
The
supposed to
Nairobi City
talking about
Center that
football earlier.
went that played. Oh come on, Jonathan, stop it. The Nairobi City Center that played in the Road to BL was better
Mhm.
than the one they brought here.
I
Of
To be
agree.
fair,
course, absolutely.
It was 100% better.
Yeah.
I'm I don't understand why they couldn't retain the players. Was it the cost? Was it team chemistry not working? Or did those players just get like better offers? Because if they had retained the players they had, I think they would have had a better I would have had more faith in them and they would have had a better showing. But can we go back to MBB beating APR? Like what the hell is happening? Was Ndoye on the bench? I don't understand.
they were all playing though. So
Or was it one of those tactical, when you lose
I
on purpose to get a different seeding when you go into the playoffs, so you
oh
don't have to
yeah,
play certain, maybe that's
true.
what it was. Some teams do that.
No, I don't think so. Probably Petro the one that did that to give Creole Star to go. But hey, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Conspiracy theory, Portuguese people getting each other's back.
Wow.
Instead of drinking that car, hey,
That's
No, no, no.
crazy.
I'm just
and
saying,
they
though.
beat us.
I'm
They
just
beat us
saying.
fair and square. They beat
Yeah.
us. Come on, we
Yeah.
not. No, they
Oh
beat us.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm just
MBB. They
saying.
won by they won by 6.
Yeah,
That's
they won by 6 to APR. So
crazy.
the standing are now, if I'm not mistaken, you have Al Tripoli with
Mhm.
four wins. You have APR with 2. You have MBB with 2. and Nairobi
Crazy.
with 0. So guess
Seriously.
So
what? The best third place can come from the Nile Conference. We still have Fus Rabat, who was praying to everybody to be
Mm.
in in the best third place.
yeah, yeah,
So the
yeah.
first one was Kryostar, who clinched the playoff spot. So this one will be in between either the third of the Nile Conference or Fus Rabat.
Yeah.
I actually think that Rabat is a better team than the two teams in the third and fourth spot in the Nile Conference. That's my personal opinion. Do you
Yeah,
not think?
but what if they go and get some new players for the finals? Like,
But they shouldn't be allowed to. That doesn't make sense. You can't just pick up players to go to the playoffs. That's not how it works. We'll
That's
find
it.
out.
That's always like that. But yeah, who's your best surprise, as in on the players and the team that really surprised you? Kero, you were talking about Al Ahly, and then you were not waiting them to get such of a performance. So
You are correct. I did on this podcast say that Alali was not going to come top. I would like to apologize to all
oh,
Alali Tripoli fans. I will humble myself. I was wrong. I didn't believe in you, and I should have because God did. And that's why you're 4-0 right now. And I need to keep my mouth shut because clearly I don't know about Tripoli basketball. And I'm gonna watch your games more closely, and I'll learn a little more. Yeah, they did surprise me. I wasn't expecting them to be that good. I did say Mohamed Sadi, like, I always think he's great fun to watch. He brings great energy, lovely smile, you know. But his shots are, I said it before, I said that team is just a bit haywire. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't predict how they're going to play. They just kind of do stuff. And I'm surprised that them doing stuff has meant that they've won all their games so far. That is wild to me. But maybe that's a style of play in Africa that we haven't seen for a long time, where teams just kind of rely on the energy and feeding off each other's spirit and willingness to win. Maybe that's what it is. They're just doing what it takes to win, and that's how they're winning. And maybe that's what we need. It doesn't need to be so organized. It doesn't need to be so contrived. It doesn't need to be so drawn up. Let's just play and see what happens. And that's what makes them exciting to watch because you don't know what's going to happen.
yeah, and then there's something also, and I'll hand it over to Jonathan when I just to talk about it a little bit. You got Jean-Jacques Boissy coming off the bench.
Facts. It's
Hey,
a
who's
joke.
gonna beat that? Who's gonna
That's
beat that?
actually
Jean-Jacques Boissy probably gonna be the best player in the floor when the bench are subbed and we're dropping. And the thing which is crazy about it a little bit. I think you were talking about it in the last couple of episodes when we were saying like we know his game. His game is rough, but when he's on, he is very on. And then that's something that I did recognize a little bit about his game. Is that he really improved his
Mm.
outside shooting and decision making. So, as in, he's taking better shots, and then probably most of the shots that he's taking are open. So his teammates are creating for him. So we're gonna say that Al Ahly Tripoli. So there's no like there is a lot of one-on-one basketball that we play in that team. They're sharing the ball is moving a lot, and then they're always finding the best option. And then sometimes he's in a good spot, and then hey, he's playing at home as well. He's playing in Rwanda, so
yeah.
probably you get to know BK Arena. But yeah, being coming off the bench and dropping 27 points per game is crazy.
But maybe
Like,
he's found his, like every player has to find their niche, right? They need to find that
true.
that thing that makes them work. Maybe for Boissy, that's it. He doesn't need to
Yeah,
start. He needs to come
yeah,
off the bench, and then that's when he is more comfortable, and that's when we see
true.
him shine. And if a coach recognizes that and plays him in that way, then all you can do is go up. It's an upward trajectory.
True. And that's something also that the Senegalese national team should learn about because the thing is, we're lacking of point guard, but we have depth in the shooting guard spot. You have Branco Baggio and him, and both of them has the same play style. And the thing is, both of their basketball are kind of redundant when they are in the court at the same time. So probably
Facts.
what you can do, it's like you're gonna start one of them, and then you got Boissy coming off the bench and do his thing. So it can be beneficial to the team.
And
So
it's
yeah,
great for all of the fans to watch because they're both very attractive. Sorry, Jonathan, you had something you wanted to say?
Jonathan
you
is.
don't agree that Badio and Boissy are attractive?
Mm, don't know. Told you this podcast will change names soon.
No,
I'm going
no,
to find a
we
new
will
name.
keep it to Swish Norm, I think. No
Yeah,
worries. We'll keep it
Swish
to Swish
Tinder.
Norm.
Swish
Swish
Tinder.
Tinder.
Swish Tinder is
yeah,
wild. But yeah,
just to
Jonathan,
say,
what do you know about like Tripoli's basketball that we did not know? But yeah, I feel like you kind of said it
sometime back,
on record. Yeah.
some time back, I said that we should be on the lookout for Libya's
You did
basketball.
say that,
Yeah, he did say that.
and
In a,
I
in
said
a,
I
that,
laughed.
and yeah, I even asked the question: is Libya the new
Yeah,
kings of the block,
the new,
something
yeah,
like
you
that?
yeah.
said that.
So I think now that they're proving that they can be. I'm not saying that they are going to be, but they can be the next big thing in Africa. Now, for when will it take place is another question. It can happen at this AfroBasket or at the next, but they're definitely here to stay. This is a statement they're making in the Nile Conference, and I think that we're gonna see more and more of them in the coming years.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, yeah, I feel like you said it in an episode. I mean, when we first started this podcast, in the question of the week, is Libya the next big thing in
Yeah.
Africa? Let's see
Two
in Club
statements. There
Noble
was two
how.
statements. Yeah, there was
Yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
statements. Babe. No, there was Petro was not gonna be. They're not gonna win against us. That's another statement. But yeah, yeah. But one went north, the other one went south. You know.
Wow, Pedro.
All I gotta say, Libya and the words of the great Shaquille Rashan O'Neal. Sorry, Libya, I wasn't familiar with your game. Yeah.
True.
Facts. That part.
That was
Oh,
facts. That was facts. Thank you guys so much. So BL will be going, and who would you predict? I will just take your predictions, as in which team do you think gonna qualify in this conference, and then we're gonna go into the next segment. I will start with El Quero.
Who's gonna qualify? As in
Yeah,
order.
in order. Yeah.
I damn it. I don't want to shoot Libya down again.
But they
I've learnt
done.
my lesson.
They already
They
clinched.
Yeah, yeah,
qualified.
yeah. No, yeah, they've already done, but I think that they will lose one of the next games.
Even if they lose, I think they will still be
They'll still
The other one,
qualify.
first.
the other one's got
Yeah, they
two.
Yeah,
will
The
be
other
still
one got two.
first.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I don't think Libya will go 6-0. So let's go 5-1 for Libya.
Yeah.
Then APR, I want to go 3-2. And then
But there's 6 games. Can't be 3-2.
There's six again.
no, three
Yeah.
and what did I say?
3-2.
Three
You
and
said three and
You mean
two.
4-2?
three and three.
Oh, 3-3.
3
3
and
okay.
3. And then MMB and
MBB.
oh my god. Oh, sorry, MBB. I have really no respect for these people.
ooh,
MBB and oh my gosh, Kenya. That's Nairobi. Why you do? Okay, I think
Now you know why I'm calling them City Oilers.
MBB is gonna go 3-3, and then
How you
Nairobi's gonna go
predicting? Now you
0
go
and
all 6.
0 and 1.
6.
No,
Oh
one.
no,
No,
0
it
and
has to
1.
be 1 and 5.
Yes,
1 and
sorry.
5.
Oh, they'll go 1 and 5. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think they will get that win against MBB.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I would like. Let me just say, I would like them to get the win against MBB. Yeah, that's my
MBB.
At least for
Listen, my Southerners, my Southern brothers, don't let the Northerners come and say that you guys are gonna lose to who? Get out of here!
Get out of here, man.
Get out of here! You know what I'm saying?
Lord have mercy.
So who do you think? What do you think the table will look like? P Funk.
Libya,
Okay.
MB to the M F and B.
You think they're gonna go
MBB.
second?
Yes, I said it. I called it. Fucking-
Against APR?
against
The home
whoever
team,
comes. I
Whoever
don't care.
comes
They
is
got home court.
crazy.
They got home court.
they, are,
MBB is gonna go
they do have
second.
home court. Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
MBB
Let's
is
see.
gonna go second because they're gonna go to South Africa and raise havoc. Yes.
So who's third?
APR probably.
APR.
APR. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Jonathan?
APR's yeah.
Yeah. Basically, I'm going with Libya one, APO second, MBB third, and
Mm.
Kenya. I'm sorry for Nairobi. I have friends in the city, but I'm sorry, guys. Uh,
I love them too, but we have to be honest.
you've done it to yourself, so
You've done it to yourself is crazy.
yeah, I'm sorry about that. But those are facts, and you can't change the facts now.
All right, all right.
Let's go.
For me it's gonna be the Al Ahly, APR,
Mhm.
okay, MBB placing third, and Nairobi City Thunder. But in the best third place, they have to MBB gonna have to fight Fus Rabat. Fus Rabat right now has two
Mm.
wins and four losses.
So
So if
MBB
M
needs to have
Three.
5. No, three.
three,
Right.
three,
Sorry, they
three,
need to have
three.
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they
And
have
they've got
three,
2 right now, right?
There you go.
yeah,
And they're
they
gonna
have
get
two. They
Interesting.
have two now. If they got one win, they will be going, and then Fus Rabat gonna wait
Snap.
for next BL probably if they win in their local
That's
league.
crazy. Guys, remember who should have been in this conference instead of Nairobi City Thunder? Remember that Urunani team that we were all in love with?
No,
That
no, no.
just
Yurunani was to be in the place of MBB. Actually,
that's what
there
I'm
was a
saying.
communique on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
not
like,
not Nairobi.
oh yeah, you're right. So Nairobi would have made it anyway. Okay, fair. I mean, maybe MBB was a better choice. No, it wasn't. The answer is no, it wasn't, but sure.
Yeah,
I'm ready to move
but
on to the quiz.
oh yeah, but
Oh yeah.
before the quiz today, we're gonna talk about history a little bit, and then we have our historian coming back for this great segment that we implemented since last episode. And for today, we're gonna talk about Madagascar basketball. And it's always your own people, you know. You're gonna tell me. And for today, we're gonna talk about Madagascar basketball. We're gonna talk about the past a little bit. We're gonna go down about story, and then we're gonna talk about what's going on now in Madagascar basketball, you know. And then see how the future look like for them. Is the future bright or is it dark? So first thing first, let's start with the past. And then who's better suited to do the past than our FIBA people?
Okay, here is a brief history on Madagascar basketball.
There you
Basketball
go.
in Basketball in Madagascar has a deeper history than I actually thought. I didn't know. I thought they just started playing like let's say like 20 years ago. I was wrong. The sport was introduced in the early 20th century, brought over by French colonial influence, particularly through missionary schools and through urban youth clubs, which is something we discussed as what happened with Kenya. But the urban youth clubs is a different twist. So what they wanted to do was get the youth together instead of allowing them to gallivant, let's say, and be vagabonds. They brought them together to these youth centers where they had built basketball courts and then started teaching them the game. It quickly caught on, especially in the capital city, which is Antananarivo, where courts were built and the competition started to shape. So in 1963, Madagascar joined FIBA, marking its formal entry into the international basketball scene. The men's game grew steadily from there, with the national championships and regional leagues helping to spread the sport across the entire island. The women's game then began to take root in the late 1960s, driven by school programs and the success of multi sports clubs encouraging female participation. So, unlike the men's, which was kind of getting guys from the street. What they went into the schools and encouraged young ladies to take up sport, telling them it would be beneficial health wise, it could help with their careers as well, and allowing them to express themselves in a way that they'd never been able to do before. And then they turned those youth clubs into not just boys' youth clubs, but ones that also invited girls, and then introduce other sports as well as basketball. So if they weren't tall or they weren't fast or they had no hand-eye coordination, there was other sports that the girls could do to just get them engaged in playing more activities. So, so by the 1980s, Madagascar had built a solid domestic presence in both men and women's basketball. In the early stages, participation was quite modest because they couldn't compete with the bigger countries. Just a few hundred players who were mostly in urban centers were playing basketball. But what stood out was the level of technical skill and discipline in regions like Analamanga and Altrota Magoro, where youth competitions helped build a pipeline of talent that then fed into the major cities and then fed to, well, I hate to say it, but fed into France, essentially. Because when they saw the talent, they would take them over to mainland and then teach them in the schools and give them more opportunities to play the game. So while Madagascar is still young in terms of the game, they have made noise in the youth competitions, and they hosted the under 18s women's African championships and the men's African championships in 2022, which is where we got the stars that we know now as Matthias Madi. And the country is continuing to grow the game from a youth level as opposed to adults. And that is the history in the past of Madagascar basketball. Oh, thanks, guys. I like doing research.
Thank you so much. It was so clear and insightful. Now let's go to the present with the man himself, the island boy.
Just one question before I start. Oji, did you write this all what you read?
Yeah, I wrote it into a script. Otherwise, it was just random information. I like
Right.
writing scripts. Also, it's my job to write scripts.
She's good at her job, though. So that's how
You
that's
need
how
to
we feel
teach
about
me that
people.
because I need to
Don't worry,
learn
I
how
got you.
scripts. Okay, so the present now is that uh, basically Madagascar has over. If I just tell you, I wrote an article some time ago on why Madagascar is booming. Basketball is booming there, you know, and yeah, actually, it's like they have 400 clubs running, 400 or more clubs running, even 500 active clubs. Sources told me. So what you see is the effect of the chairman of Malagasy Basketball Federation, Mr. Jean-Michel Rabarosson, and under his impulse, it started like 12 years back, and he came with a vision, like he wanted to see Madagascar progress, develop basketball and all that. So so you know, he's the chairman of development in FIBA Africa. He has a special eye on his country. That's natural, and under his impulse, they it started to grow. Uh, he got sponsors to sign to accompany the federation. Uh, he got uh, partners to come up to team up with the national teams. You see that when the national team in a tournament, they have uh, their Telma, which is now IAS, something like that in Madagascar. What he did, he brought development in terms of training for the players, but also for coaches. Uh, everyone you meet, and he made sure that everyone loves basketball in Madagascar. This is his contribution to the sport, and we should also know that Madagascar has a history of transitioning because you have players who've been in the under 18, like to 15 or earlier a bit, who are now leaders of a senior national team. I'm talking about Eli. I'm talking about Kiad, Sitraka, the shot blocker. He was in the under 16. He's now 24, and he's one of the leaders of a team. That's the strength of Madagascar. They they always, the players, they they know each other. They've been playing each other in the country. Now Sitraka is playing in France. He plays along against his teammate in national team Caddy, and so they know each other. There's something even greater than that, is that they're very attached to their country. You ask every player what he wants to do. He wants to go to play for the under the jersey, the Madagascar jersey, and I think that's the most wonderful part for that. When you talk to the players, you feel the pride they have about being Malagasy, and they know uh, they're just at the learning point now. But what they know is that if we still keep the same trend, they go the same way, in some time, people will remember what they did. And let me tell you, for what I saw when they beat Egypt in the qualifiers, they can do something really, really big in the AfroBasket. That's that's my that's what I think of them. Any
True,
questions?
true, true. Listen, our questions now, probably we're gonna ask the listener to tell us about the question, but now let's go on to the future with the one and only P Funk. So, what about Madagascar future? Tell
Hey,
us.
listen, that's exactly. I completely agree with OG said and what Jonathan said. Um, they, I think, because they don't have a lot of people playing basketball. Let's say they have they have a few chosen players that, and then they bring them up. Players like when you think about Madagascar, you talk about immediately Matias Madi, right? But there's more. There's more. There's Big Lova. Big Loafers out there, like that kid. I love that kid. He played with a player of mine, Seward County in a community college in Kansas City, in Liberal City, yeah, Kansas. And then they have another guy, Mikael. I don't know if he's Mikael, if it's Michael. They call him Magic Mike. He plays. He's going to New Mexico Military Institute. Is a JUCO. He played in Orlando. And then what I think is like they get a lot from the fact that some of them, like Carl said, they sent to France, and France to me is the best grassroots in terms of talent for in Europe. There's no other country in Europe with the best there's so much talent like France. France is gonna keep having. They had the past two number one picks were from France. This one, there's not gonna be number one, but it's gonna be this noise thing is gonna be like top 10, hopefully. You know, yeah, and then they had Killian Hayes number 7. I mean, they the success they had speak. Like you don't need to mention because it's right there. It's evident. But I think Madagascar has another thing. Like they really, really good in 3-on-3. You know, and they really, really good in 3-on-3. So they can if those players that play 3-on-3 can go and transition to 5-on-5 with the same degree of excellence, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the on the African continent. We you mentioned AfroBasket. They might, hey, listen, no one's expecting a lot from them. No one. So they have no pressure. They have no pressure. They come in with that generation that went to the World Cup. After in they went to U19, right? U19, yeah, U19 World Cup, and then Matias Madi was the best, was the top scorer. Top scorer at the AfroBasket U18, top scorer. So he scores points, and we saw him now. He's that kid. And then we will see. He put his name in the draft. I don't think, honestly, I don't want you to say he's always their own people because but realistically speaking, you know, we're talking about a kid that played JUCO, junior college, scored like 12, 13 points a game, and then went to France and, Division two. And, I mean, it wasn't like averaging 30 points a game over there. So the odd, I think he should have, like Jonathan said, who's advising these kids? He could have waited 1 year, get his stock up, and then, because right now it's complicated as a guy coming from Division two, but the future is bright for the country, for the island is good. What we see in terms of like the I don't know how many, I don't know how big the arena is, but it was packed. It was packed. It's and then if they keep having the love for the game, and then that generation grows, and then the ones coming back, even the ones coming back also getting because there's people like 24, 25 years old. Then there's like the other generation of 20. There's got to be another one. So I think Madagascar can go places in Africa. Keep climbing up the ranks, and hopefully Big Loaf is going to sign up with a Division One team. This other kid went JUCO now, so I think we have the Island boys are gonna keep coming. So hopefully not this AfroBasket for obvious reasons.
For
For
clear,
obvious
obvious
reasons. Nah,
reasons.
but yeah, for obvious reasons. No, but big up to I mean, I don't know the federation, but I don't know the people, but they know they have a vision. They have a vision, they're implementing that vision. And that's all we can ask for. Giving the kids opportunities, because all you got to do is like put them on the stage and let them shine. And they are
Um,
shining. Yeah.
True. Thank you so much. Thank you to my all co-hosts that did great work for this segment, and for all the fans that really want us to continue that segment. Please tell us in the comment section which country should we do next. And yeah, now it's time for the quiz, guys. Do you have your papers ready for new
I'm
generation
ready.
of people? Do you have your phone ready?
Yep.
You know, you know who I'm talking to. So for today's quiz, it will be 5 questions. I like to do
Okay.
them quick, 5 trivia question.
Oh,
If
you
you
like
want
to
to
do it
play,
quick?
oh
Chico.
yeah, that's what
I
I
didn't
do.
know.
That's what I do.
Oh, how
That's what I
bad?
do.
Okay.
That's what I do. That's what I do. So yeah, it will be 5 questions, a point for each question. And if you're listening to the podcast, if you want to play in our trivia basketball trivia game, which bro, always madness in here because some people think they will win real estate after getting into the quiz. So yeah, very competitive quiz. So Jonathan, you have some work to do because it's been a while we did not see you yet. Now the real champion of the quiz is Quero and Pedro sharing the spotlight together. Both of them win the last 2 episodes. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, Jonathan, you have a lot of work to do. So I will
I'm scared
start.
for
So
this quiz.
guys, do you have a word to say to your opponent?
Let's do it.
She ready.
Okay, Island boy, are you ready? Yeah, Island boy is always
I
ready.
don't
He's
like
just
why he's laughing.
laughing.
He's laughing
He's
like
just
it's
laughing.
making me feel uncomfortable.
He's laughing. He's
He
laughing.
knows
But
he's
yeah,
gonna get it all right. That's the problem.
yeah. But yeah, first thing first, let's talk about women's Afro basket to see if you guys know yourself. We're gonna go quick and easy. Who's named MVP of the 2021 Afro Basket Championship?
Women's Afrobasket?
Women's Afro Basket.
Gosh, I know. What's her name?
If
Answers
I
in
if I
five. If you got no misspelled, oh no worries, I got you covered. Answers on five, four, three, two, one. Show your answers. Okay, who do you write down? Kero,
Oh,
Elonu.
Adora
Okay,
Aloni from
yep,
Nigeria.
Elon from Nigeria. Jonathan, same. Pedro.
no,
He put a conquer.
Wait, wait, wait,
So the
wait. Something I'd like to add. This was exactly the beef between Pedro and I. That was the name.
I know. I know.
I'm
And then
sure
Oh
I spelled her
man.
got
name
he,
wrong. Alonu with a U, right? It doesn't have an
yeah,
O.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's with you. It's with you.
Yeah.
So
But I
yeah,
still get the point though, right?
yeah, you get the point.
Okay.
Jonathan get the point. Pedro, you have zero. So we have quick work to do. Okay. Question number 2. Who's actually leading the Nile Conference in assist?
A player?
Oh,
A player.
Good.
Oh, come on, guys. Like, I don't look at it that. I'm not Marcel.
Eh,
Can you tell
Shout
me
out to
what it begins
Marcel.
with?
It begins with his name, begin with a H.
Who's in the Nile Conference?
But the thing is, even if I tell you the team he's playing for, I'm not
I'm
pretty
still
sure
not
that you
going to
got
get
the
it.
answer right.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Let me
I
give you a
don't know.
hint. He
Yeah,
Yeah,
plays
yeah,
give me
for
yeah.
it.
APR. He plays for APR.
Who the
I don't know.
Answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nobody? Oh,
I'm
guys, come on. It's Habi Mana with 8 points, eight assists per game.
Javi, I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually don't know what you look like, bruv. So I was never gonna guess that. You already know I only pay attention to the hot players. Not to say you're not hot, but you're just not on my radar right now. But I'm gonna Google you after this.
The thing
And
is,
yeah, then we
you're
can be
more
friends.
into scorers than playmakers, which is a shame.
yeah, yeah.
Facts.
All of you guys are more into
What up,
play.
Badio?
Wow, that's what we do. Okay. Question number 3. Get ready. Which team handed Nigeria their only loss in 2021 Women's Afrobasket Tournament preparation game?
Oh, preparation.
Preparation game?
Talk about the preparation,
Who
and
pays
then
attention to the preparation games?
Because
Just, just
it's the only
repeat the
loss that
question.
they had in them. Which
Repeat the
team
question, please.
handed Nigeria? Okay, I'm repeating the question.
Okay.
Which team handed Nigeria their first and only loss in 2021 Women's Afrobasket Tournaments preparation games?
on a
Sorry,
Tuesday.
what
On a
was it an
Tuesday.
African team? Can you at least tell me that? Was it an African
Let
team?
me let me let me let me give you the options.
Okay, thank
Option
you.
A, USA.
Oh, it
Option
wasn't an
B,
African team.
France. Option C, Belgium. And option D, Senegal.
I don't know the answer to this question.
Can we go? Can okay, 5, 4, 3. Okay.
Jonathan, Senegal, Senegal. he
It
put
was USA as well.
he put Senegal. So the correct answer is Belgium.
Oh, oh, I hate your questions so much.
My bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. I'm so sorry, guys.
I
Question
I
number
had the
4.
feeling, you know. I had the feeling.
It was a trick
So,
question. I thought he was going to pick something where Senegal wins because he's Senegalese.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I know.
It's not always like that, you know.
Yeah,
Question
that's
number
because that's what
4.
Pedro does.
Yeah, Perez was always talking about Angola in 3 to 4 times in a podcast.
Only
Can
mentioned
we do
once
something
today.
about it?
Only mentioned once.
Really?
Well
Yeah.
done. I'm
Probably
proud
gonna
of you,
watch it.
bro.
That's great. Question number 4. Which player scored the most points in the BL game during the 2003 season? Which
2003.
player scored the most
2003.
point in yeah?
The
Which
BL in
player
Two years.
scored the
2003.
Yeah, that's 2 years ago, bro.
2023? Sorry,
23.
Oh,
2023. My bad, my bad. It's my bad.
sorry.
So
I
which
have a
player
question.
scored?
Were they an African player or an international player, please?
I can tell.
That's
I
not
mean, you
fair.
can. It's a.
Yeah, yeah,
It's,
okay. It's an international player.
Okay, well then that doesn't help me at all. Ah.
Why?
See, the beard knows the answer. That's why he's counting. He didn't know
Okay,
his first name.
just pick up something. Answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Show your answers.
Show your answer first so I can copy it.
Show your answer.
Oh, Will
Okay.
Perry. I went for Crawford. You
Okay,
know, in my
Pedro, how
head,
about
Will
you?
Perry's not even an international player, bro. Do you
Who
say
did it
Zaire
work?
Wade, you joker?
Probably Carlos Moraes.
Like, wait. Oh.
That poor baby.
Why the beef
Oh,
But
Yeah,
why
with
would you say?
I think it was Will Perry with
I think it
42
was
or
Will Perry
41.
as well.
42,
Yeah.
41, right?
No way, bro. Why would you say? Why would you say Zaire Wade? So yeah, the correct answer is Will Perry with 41. So Jonathan has a
Yeah,
point.
I knew it was
Jeez.
41. Yeah, I knew. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you know
let
what?
me let me let me let me
Never left.
let me quick recap. Quick recap. Quick
There's only
recap.
one
So
question. Do the recap after the. It's only one
Yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah.
Finish it.
We recap
okay,
after
okay,
the
okay,
question.
okay, okay, okay. My bad. It's on
Give
me.
me a chance
So
to draw.
so question number four, number five. My
Oh,
bad.
five.
Who is the leading rebounder in the Nile Conference?
Oh,
Oh, what's his face? Oh, what's his face? Oh, oh, oh my gosh. He's
Who
cute and he
is the
doesn't speak English. What's his name?
who is the
He's
leading
from Bara.
rebounder? Who is the leading
Oh,
rebounder in the Nile Conference?
what's his name? Oh, okay.
Answers in five, four, three, two, one.
Uh,
Show your answers. Okay,
no.
Pedro have Alujara. Oji, what do you have?
Yara.
Alujara. Jonathan,
I'm out. I'm out.
nothing. So the
I
correct
didn't
answer
put
is Alujara.
I didn't put it
The
there.
co-
at least I got a point. At least I got a
so
point. So there's a
the
tie. There's a tie.
the
There's a
thing is
tie.
there's a tiebreaker. There's a tie. So Caro has two, Jonathan has two. Pedro, at least you had a point. I mean, that
At
is
least I
what.
had a point. At least I had a
At
point,
least.
and I knew it was Will Perry, but I wanted to make a statement.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, of course, of course, of course, of course.
You
Let
wanted
I
me
a
thought it
come.
viral
might.
moment.
Let me come with a NBA question.
No.
Hey, no, come on, man.
Tiebreaker.
No,
You,
no.
you're talking to the person who didn't even know that place was in Texas. Remember this? Do you remember that?
I just talking to
I
someone who doesn't
do.
even. That's why.
Okay. Which
You just play
question should I
rock
come
paper
from?
scissors.
Yeah,
Rock paper
let's do
No,
scissors.
that.
no, 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 no. Let me come with that question. Which team became the first non-African club to participate in a BAL as a guest team? I will name them: Zamalek, Al Ahly, AS Douane, or Petro de Luanda.
Sorry, the
Which team?
question was what?
The question was which team became the first non-African club to participate in the BAL as a guest team?
But they're
When you
all
say
African
guest team,
teams. I don't understand.
when you
I
say
don't I
guest
don't
team,
understand.
what
Yeah,
How
do
can
you
as
they
a
be a
mean by
guest
guest
team.
guest
team?
team?
What's a guest team?
A guest team is probably a team that got invited. And so in yeah,
Oh, you
Zamalek,
mean a team that was invited, not they didn't participate in the road to BAL.
yeah.
Okay,
Answers
right.
in
So wait,
so
say that
you have
sorry.
the
It was
option the
AS
options
one?
are Zamalek, Al
Yes.
Ahly, AS
Yes.
Douane, Petro de Luanda.
There's someone googling.
Not me. If I
Do you have
understand
the
the question
answers?
correctly, yeah. Wait, the first team. What? Maybe I don't understand the question.
Answers in
Repeat the question,
five,
please.
four.
Repeat the question, please.
Okay, let me just repeat the question a little bit. Which team became the first non-African club to participate in the BAL as a guest?
But that doesn't make sense because all the teams that participate in the BAL are African clubs. So how can you be a
So,
non-African club?
so give the
I don't
answer.
understand. I don't understand the question.
On five, four, three, two, one. Show your answers.
I mean, I said Alali, but I don't get the question. I put Zamalek on the other side, but I don't understand the question. So I don't
It
get
was a
it.
trick. It was a trick question. All the teams,
But
African
that's
teams,
what I
all
said.
participated. So yeah, why would you guys flinch? It was a trick question.
But you told us to write.
But listen,
No,
listen. Let's do this.
Okay,
To be
okay,
fair,
let's do this.
they both lose
Yeah, yeah,
because they
yeah,
don't know to
yeah.
follow the rules,
True,
right?
true,
They both
But I
lose,
true,
and
said
I
true,
what
true.
I
win.
said.
No, 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 no. I'll give you another question. We got a tiebreaker, so let's give you another question. Who was the FIBA AfroBasket 2013 MVP?
Oh, I know.
And you're not playing, bro?
I know.
Or you just want to play for play? Okay, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm done.
I'm done.
then
So your answers?
CM6.
Okay. CM6. There you go. Then, who was the runner up at that AfroBasket?
My that was in Angola. I remember.
Okay. Show your answers. Jonathan,
oh god,
what do you wrote? So, ladies and gentlemen, it was a fun time playing today. And let me tell you something. Kero won today's quiz. Let's go. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Kero, one word for the fans.
that's what happens when you beat.
Wow.
That's what
Just wow.
happens.
Just
Just
wow,
wow.
that's the word for the fans.
Wow. It's great being me. You want to know why it's great being me? He thinks he chose that question at random. Do you know what I've been doing all of last week? Creating a feature about the 2013 Afrobasket final. You could literally ask me any question. I could tell you time codes for when Carlos Moraes scored.
Wow.
That's what I've been doing. So all I can say is God did because I
FIBA
didn't do it by
connection. There
myself.
it is. FIBA connection. You can't. You know. You can't. You can't.
Yeah, yeah, you can't find
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's unfair, right? But life is unfair. Just like all said.
But you know what the great Shannon Sharp says? He says, fair is a place where they judge pigs. Nothing's fair. There you go. Let's go.
Thank
Ah,
you so much. Thank you so much. So, congratulations again for Keto for winning today's quiz. So, once again, if you guys want to play to our
Mm.
trivia quiz, available on YouTube and Spotify. So, this is the end of today's episode. Thank you so much to all Swish Nomad listeners. We cannot thank you enough. We are in episode 21, and you guys still here supporting us, watching us, liking us.
Episode
My
22. Episode
episode
22.
22. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
great. To
you
all
missed.
my
Yeah, you.
to what I miss. I mean, I was telling to my fans. Thank you, my fans. Shout out to you. I saw that you guys are watching the podcast from Senegal and all across Africa. I have mad love and respect for you. Keep supporting me, and by supporting me, you're supporting us. Keep liking and keep subscribing to socials. And yeah, we are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we are on X, we are on Facebook as well. If you want the audio only experience, we are on Spotify and soon to be on Apple Podcasts. And if you want a full video experience, we are on YouTube. So that was a wrap. Thank you guys for listening to us. Pedro, final thought.
Here we go. Listen, I saw a couple of pictures today of Ruben, the kid from Florida, at the White House, and it's like the way it was received because the Florida Gators had to go and be received by the president. My question is, how many Africans are going to be drafted in this year's NBA draft? Because there's plenty of them. There's plenty of them. So, how many Africans do you think they have a realistic chance to be drafted on this year's NBA draft? Because it's especially kids that came from Africa. They came from NBA Academy. They went to the States. Ruben played at the University of Washington. Then he played at the University of Florida. Won the chip, national title, and then I think it might be he might go back to college. I don't know, whatever. But how many? NBA players of not even African descent. How many African players are going to be drafted in this year's edition in June? In a couple of, actually in a month from now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I have a question for Jonathan. Do you think Matthias Madi is going to be drafted?
It's always
That's
Yep,
rude.
it's always your own people.
It's your own
Thank you
people.
guys so much for listening to for today's episode. That's a wrap. Bye.